Just quick overall thoughts. I thought this was a fun show. I went in with very low expectations because I watched SmackDown. I reviewed that with Tempest yesterday, and it was such a mid-card show that did nothing to build the pay-per-view.
Well, there was only one SmackDown match on the show, so what are they going to do?
Yeah,
they're going to build matches that aren't there?
And then also, I went into SummerSlam with quite high expectations.
Yeah.
There were fun bits, but it was mostly underwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
This was the opposite. Yeah. Low expectations because it's like the most B pay-per-view WWE have done since...
It's quite a while.
What was the pay-per-view? The last pay-per-view that Vince was in charge of. So SummerSlam 2022 was
What would have been before that? Money in the Bank, where Austin Theory won?
Yeah, probably that.
Yeah.
It's the most underwhelming card B pay-per-view since then. So over a year. And I went in with low expectations. I had a wicked time.
Yeah. I thought this was really good. I didn't think it was amazing. I didn't expect it to be amazing. And it was all right.
Solid.
Yeah. A solid show.
This is the definition of a 3.5 out of 5.
I agree.
Show.
Yeah.
And I had a good time doing it.
Yep.
It's like Dungeons and Dragons. Love that movie. It's 3 stars.
Okay, you need to clarify the movie, because if you just say Dungeons and Dragons as a whole, I was going to come at you quite hard there. Just like, what do you mean D&D is a 3 out of 5 hobby? Because
Yeah, it's a 2 out of 5 hobby. But the movie is better. and most people who are true fans of that IP will agree.
Yeah. It's fine.
But yeah, it's a fun thing, but it is only 3 stars. There's nothing wrong with a totally average show.
Yeah.
And this was a bang average show.
I think this met my expectations for this show. I don't think this was above what I expected. This was like bang on. I expected all right, and I got all right.
Let's see what you all thought on the UltraChats, WrestleTalk.com/support. Send them in there. We'll read out every single one over $5. Connie, the blasphemy of saying D&D is a 2 out of 5 hobby triggered me hard enough to donate for the first time. Pete, please put this $5 towards a new set of dice. Becky and Trish was match of the night. Wild to think Trish debuted in 2000 and is killing it in 2023. Love you, boys. Love you, boys, I think means Ollie was right about D&D being a 2 out of 5.
I don't think that's correct. KO got busted open at some point. Not sure when that happened.
Yeah, but so there was this really cool bit where I think it's the first time Dom gets involved. They're brawling into the crowd, and Priest and Balor are like getting worked over. And Dominic appears. He takes out Zayn and KO, and they disappear for a bit. And the camera just holds on the Judgment Day members. They're yucking it up. They're putting their arms around each other. And I thought Zayn and Owens are going to be standing right behind them.
Yeah.
The way the camera is just like on purposely not showing the background.
Yeah.
And the camera moves round as the heels look behind them. And behind like a table, Owens and Zayn have done a costume change. They're wearing some form of Pittsburgh ice hockey jersey.
Yep.
The crowd go wild for it.
Yep.
And Owens is covered in blood.
I don't know when that happened.
Did he blade on the jersey?
I don't know.
Maybe it was new and there was a tag in there?
Because I thought that what happened was he got hit over the head with a trash can before, and I saw him go into the corner. I was like, oh, like, has he got a cut or anything? And no, he was fine. I was like, oh, okay, great. I thought he'd been busted open or something then. And then like a minute later, he comes up and he's covered in it. And I was like, well, was that the spot? Was it just delayed? Like, I don't know. But yeah, when he came up from there, just absolutely covered in it.
Looked great.
It's a cool visual.
Yeah. So because they weren't just generic jerseys.
No,
they weren't like Owens and Zayn.
They had significance. I think if you want to hear it, go watch the edited review, because I got Tempest to send me a voice note explaining it, and it's a minute and a half.
KO and Sammy also did a hockey reference. I don't watch hockey. I didn't get it, but we have someone here at WrestleTalk who does watch hockey. So, Tempest, Can you explain it to me, buddy?
So Payback was in Pittsburgh, where the Penguins play, and Kevin Owens dressed as Mario Lemieux, one of the greatest hockey players that has ever played the game, who wore 66, was one of the greatest players of the 90s, won 2 Stanley Cups, had to retire for a while because he got cancer, and then he managed to come back in miraculous fashion, and it was one of the greatest moments in the history of the sport, and he came back, ended up being a part owner of the team before they drafted Sidney Crosby, whose jersey was worn by Sami Zayn in this match, and they even played together for a season. They lived together for a season during Sidney Crosby's rookie year, and Sidney Crosby ended up going on to become one of the greatest hockey players in the history of the sport as well, and he won 3 Stanley Cups with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they ended up being one of the greatest franchises ever, which is hilarious because that franchise almost went bankrupt in the 2000s before Mario Lemieux bought it. It's unbelievable. These two players are tied together, and they're two of the greatest players ever, and they both played for the same team, which is ridiculous because why did they get to draft Sidney Crosby? They were so bad in the 2000s. They shouldn't have been able to draft so many good players. They got the first overall pick twice in 3 years, and the other year they got the second overall pick, and those 3 players, Marc-Andre Fleury, Sidney Crosby, and Evgeny Malkin, they all worked together to earn 3 Stanley Cups. That's unbelievable. I just want 1 Stanley Cup, Pete. I just want 1. It's been almost 60 years.
Okay. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, buddy. I think he's got some issues.
Let's go watch that. It's on there. I had a great time listening to it.
Oh?
Is this Joe?
Yeah, it appears that Joey Samoa here is wasting no time. I don't know if he's just coming out for his match next, but he's
not even. Hey, I love that. Look at the smirk.
He gives MJF a shove, almost shoved him off the stage entirely, but gave MJF a shove. There's a little callback to MJF being a security guard at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2.
The little. Also, we got the ROH TV champion. And the ROH. MJF stormed the ring.
And he's attacking Samoa Joe. This is a match I would really like to see.
Yeah.
You know, MJF versus Samoa Joe. That's really cool.
Well, I mean, like, not to get ahead of ourselves. Oh, hello. He's got a very vicious front face lock on MJF here, has Joe. And the security has plowed into the ring to separate the two. I was wondering for a second there whether it was like, take the TV title off Joe so that you can go into a main event feud just now. But I doubt it.
We'll see. Oh, now Hobbs is going for the game over.
The game over. I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
Formerly
the Accolade.
Yeah.
Oh, but Miro hits a spine buster.
And he actually gets it. But doesn't go for the cover because he thinks it's an inferior move. That's the logic I'm going with.
Game
Here
over.
We go.
Now we're cooking.
He says, no, thank you. He's tapping.
He tapped as he lost the hold. Well, there you go. Miro wins. Yay.
Hooray.
Hooray.
Points.
Alucard. Yes.
Equal
points for both of us.
Hello. We got a little...
big meaty man earning respect. Has Powerhouse Hobbs been redeemed?
Yes, he
Brother.
has.
Anytime I see just like big men doing that handshake, just
we are men,
brother. I just think of like the Predator handshake with Schwarzenegger and but now he jumps him. It was a ruse.
He gave out the hand for respect and then said, "No, I lost and I'm cross."
Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers.
Love Carl Weathers.
Who's going to come out and save Miro? Nobody. He's got no friends.
He really doesn't.
Yeah, there's no. It's just Miro. Just
the only person he's ever been aligned with is Kip Sabian.
My brother.
Oh my God! It's Lana.
Whoa!
Oh my God! Lana's here. CJ Perry is all elite. What?
She's gonna do a little dance.
Oh my God!
Wait, she's not with Power. I'd love to watch her take out Powerhouse.
Oh my God! What's happening? She's got the chair. She's got a chair. Hot and flexible.
Her little entrance graphic just says hot and flexible.
I thought, like, in Miro's weird promos, he said that he had a god and he had a wife and such. Oh, God.
Yeah, he's been sort of talking about, like, only answering to one person and his poor, hot, flexible wife doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's kind of been the oh, don't hit Lana with a chair by accident.
Miro gets the deal back. CJ Perry. Oh, cracks him upside the head. How about that?
She looks great. Good for her.
I mean, yeah.
Like, you know,
I'm certainly not going to disagree. Oh.
Turn on her. Go on. And she's out.
You are not
she's
my
back one night
god.
only. CJP. Are they shouting CJP?
Miro's giving
He's
her
not
a real
happy.
look. He doesn't know what to do.
And
he leaves.
She's taken aback by that. She's left standing alone in the ring shoeless.
Free feet. I say free. This is pay-per-view.
There you go. $50.
Yeah.
You were complaining about the $50 fee where you got Lana in the ring not wearing any shoes.
Listen, that's high quality content for some.
I don't do feet. I'm not here to kink shame. That's one of my favorite things to say, just out of context. Like, I'm not here to kink shame, but I didn't order this.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's cross.
I don't know what Miro's deal is. I also think
It's
that
a good assessment of Miro presently.
Anywho, CJ Perry's face was a different color from the rest of her.
She's gone to the same tanning salon as Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of which was, you know, oh, is he just using Final Countdown?
Well,
they're just playing Final Countdown. Is that his music now? That's awesome.
You're not playing Punk anymore, so might as well spend that money elsewhere.
Oh my god. I was just like, wait a minute. That doesn't sound like, you know, Born for Greatness.
I was doing chats and not paying any attention whatsoever because I thought that was a one-time thing.
I thought it was too. They'd said it was a one-time thing, like, oh, we can't afford to do that all the time. But is that just his song now?
Well, maybe it's his,
that would be so rad.
Maybe it's his pay-per-view theme.
That would be totally fine with me.
His big match field theme.
Yeah, go for it. I've wanted that the entire time. But he's back. He's got a cast on.
Good. Like, you know, I don't want to believe that Tony would rush someone back a little bit early, but he broke his arm T-minus 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
Gotta let the song play.
Right. Well, we're going to need to get into the show. However, Dan, you know, slightly embarrassing here. You and I are wearing very similar outfits today.
yeah, we're a tag team.
Yeah,
so we should wear similar gear.
We should do, because, like, you know, we talked about this. You know, you've worn shirts like this before, and I was like, oh man, I'm glad I didn't wear my flowery shirt, because otherwise people would think that I'm trying to dress like you. Or
Last week I was dressing like you because I was literally wearing that. I was wearing a white top and a floral open.
So I feel like maybe I just need to change my outfit so I don't look as much like you do.
We're a tag team. We should wear the same outfit.
Dan, I think for the show, I think it is important that you and I look distinct enough from each other that people do not confuse. People get us mixed up all the time.
Oh, yeah, they
because
do.
We look so similar. So I just think that maybe I need to do something so I can just differentiate myself from you in some way.
Improv's about saying yes. Go on, do your thing.
I'll just quickly get changed into a brand new outfit.
If you come back naked, I swear to God. Whatever will he be wearing? I wore this today because it's nice and floral and it's summertime. And then I walk in, and before saying hello, everybody just goes, oh no. And I'm like, what have I done? What have I done wrong? And then I look over, and there's the other half of Pretty Dadley also wearing a floral shirt. And I was like, oh, I like this. But everyone is,
There we go. Maybe that's better now.
Now it's
talking.
Maybe that's what we needed.
The
right
doors
here.
I've opened, the influence I've had. You've praised in the past year. You've praised the Miz, Natalia, and now you've got your chest out.
Yeah.
Everyone can see a little tattoo there.
Just peeking through.
Lovely. To be clear, it's a tattoo, not a nipple.
I think it's quite clear on screen. Actually, I mean, it does look quite nipply, doesn't it, on camera?
A little bit, but I love this. Anyone tuning in is going to be very confused.
Well, oh yeah, I mean, this is like, well, I'm seeing double here.
Luke's just doing a show with
dads.
himself, I suppose.
Well, let's see what you thought of this episode of Monday Night Raw and our opening topic in your Alpha Chat. WrestleTalk.com/support. We'll read out every single one of them above the $5 amount. And Ben Vlerick is going to kick us off here. Said, no disrespect to Jay, love him, but ain't a crap deal for Raw to trade their top babyface and overall second biggest star in the company in Cody for a tag wrestler. Granted, one of the best with singles potential. Can he take Cody's spot? I don't know. Let's not be dogging on tag team wrestlers.
Yeah.
Considering as well that Dax Harwood just had like an absolute, one of the best matches of the weekend against Jay White.
Yeah.
On Collision.
I will say I do know what you mean when you say a tag team wrestler, because there are some tag team wrestlers who are just, really good in that kind of tag team context. But I also feel like Jay's work has done such a good Jay's been so good in this little run that I think he deserves to be seen individually as well as one of the Usos. I also think that if you just look at that first shot, something I was really thinking about was when he climbs up, first of all, coming down the stairs, everyone seems to be well hyped. Then he stands up and he's doing this, and the crowd are doing it back. We love to join in. Like, crowds love to join in with things. Sometimes for the wrong choices. Stop it. And then I hate you for this right now. The visual of the crowd doing that back is akin to the crowd doing this. They love that kind of stuff. So, like, if they weren't interested in him, they wouldn't have been doing it. Yeah. So he's a big star. He main evented WrestleMania.
Oh, look, everyone in the chat is going hardcore country.
I hate you all.
We're taking it back, everyone.
We're reclaiming it.
We're reclaiming it. Some fools tried to ruin this at RevPro, and we're trying to take it back and reclaim it as a good chance.
Is that why you interrupt your streams to send me voice notes?
Yes.
That haunt me.
Chris Deaton says, it could be Sammy and have the only person that Jay... It could be Sammy and have the only person happy that Jay's on Raw leave. Also, I love country music, so Hardcore Country is a great song. I also think Dom has been the MVP for the last couple of weeks.
Hardcore Country is not the problem. The problem is the people chanting Hardcore Country and not watching actual Mickey James, in a British wrestling independent match for the first time. Stop it.
The Judgment Day came out for a promo with Balor putting over everyone, I should say, and even shouted out to JD McDonough for his assistance in their tag match at Payback. Rhea points out that the Bloodline have fallen, so now they're the most dominant faction. I mean, they're draped in gold at the moment, so certainly is a good argument made for it. JD comes out with a bag. And Priest's like, look, dude, I'm really trying my best to like you, but you are not helping your cause right now by coming out. I really like Damian Priest. I think he's so cool.
Me too.
And JD's like, hey, come here to me. Oi, I've got this bag.
You know yourself. Sound quality gifts. Monaghan, Ireland.
What he has in the bag is, unfortunately, not new tag belt designs, which is what I was hoping for.
So I wrote down here. So they look all, that moment when we see them standing there in the sort of dim light with them all glistening. I was like, oh, that's a great new visual. And then they start walking forward. I'm like, ooh, those belts are looking ropey.
Those belts are rubbish.
A few poppers have been cut off and they're just looking a bit dicey. And I was like, well, what happens when you combine red and blue? Purple, Judgment Day. They could get their own belt. And then out comes JD with a bag. And I was like, here we go.
No, it's just to give Damian Priest a new Money in the Bank briefcase.
A shit Money in the Bank briefcase. Sorry to do another swear, but let's be honest. It's a Money in the Bank briefcase painted purple, and someone's put the word Senor on it in impact font.
It looks well now.
It's rubbish. Also, the briefcase isn't what's important. It's what's inside the briefcase that's important. So, Damien, remember RVD's like tie-dye spray paint, like airbrush?
His big weed one. Yeah.
Oh, it was amazing. It was great.
Or like Damien Sandow had
with
his leather one.
His grown-up briefcase. Yeah, very nice. This is a rubbish briefcase.
Boombox Brock.
Yeah. Love that.
A bit of decal on it, but this is. I'd forgotten that it had happened until I was going through the images, and I went, "Oh yeah,
it's a bit lame.
yeah, that's quite rubbish." But anyway, Sammy came out. Despite the fact that Sammy said last week we're finishing this at Payback, was like, I think we should continue this. And in the end, he wants to have a match with Dom, but JD steps in and says, or you'll have the match instead.
Stop it. For your own good.
After a segment where Finn was pitching for JD McDonough to join the group.
I have some stuff about that.
Okay, yeah, go for now.
Just because they've got a lair. They've got a special little lair backstage for the Judgment Day. And it's like, it's getting more camp every week. Like, they're adding they've got pictures of their own faces now. It started with them just sat near some purple lights, and now it's a lair. Like, and also because of the placement of the...
set up the purple light over there. We need to set up our little lair.
Who's that?
That's Rhea talking to the production team.
Oh, because she's Australian. Okay, for a second I was like, is that you, Big Finn? Because it's not working anymore. They start...
Could you not tell by my incredible Australian accent?
You must simply be stopped. They've plonked their little title belts all over the places. They've they've specifically set them so neatly in the background. Oh, yeah. It's all just so nonsense. And then Rhea stumbled a line, and I'm like, if you've taken all this time to set this up, do a second take. It'll take you 30 seconds.
But it's live. They can't do it.
No, it isn't. That wasn't live. That was pre-tape. If that's live.
If someone stumbles over a line, I assume it's a live thing, because otherwise you just do another take.
Well, that's what I in that case, I hope it was live. Get better.
We then got Raquel versus Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green.
At one point during this match, Wade Barrett said, I can't think of anyone in the women's locker room that can match the power of Raquel Rodriguez. I was like, Rhea Ripley, you dummy.
That was the whole story 2 days ago.
In fairness, Michael Cole did say, well, Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
And Wade Barrett was like, well, I think you'll find actually that Rhea Ripley actually exceeds Raquel's strength, which really shows you how strong she is.
I just want to point out to the people at home, even your Wade Barrett impression is the wrong accent. Like,
well, he's not very...
He's from Stockport.
I know, but he doesn't sound like he's very Stockport.
But he doesn't sound like he's Cockney.
He doesn't have it. Oh, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. I'm going to bring prestige back to this Intercontinental Championship, like I was previously saying.
When we tune into Raw next week and he's dressed as a pearly king and queen, then I'll fully go with it.
Because it's not like he's going to be like, I like that, I can't.
That's not Stockport either.
It's a bit Mancunian.
No, that's
I went a bit Scouse on that one then.
Kid.
Well, yeah, okay, but then
kid.
That's
Scouse.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's a similarness in there. But I was trying to get more Stockport.
I am not taking accent lessons from you. I'm simply not. Move on.
Hey, all right. You gotta be a bit more nasally with the Stockportian accent. Yeah, all right. Oh, I don't know. To be honest,
it's not working.
Says you.
Hey now.
Anyway, Raquel then cut a promo saying that she's getting a rematch next week with Dom, barred from ringside. And we're going to be shouting out our Patreon pledge hammers on Patreon. Head on over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk. That's fine. You can do it from my list as well. And that is your Hall of Fame class for the 5th of September, 2023. Where has the year gone?
Well, we're up to getting ready for War Games stuff. What a weird year it's been.
Dude, I was in Sainsbury's at the weekend and they had Christmas sweets out.
Yeah, well, that's nonsense, isn't it?
Yeah. And I feel like they do.
I get annoyed with people looking for autumn.
Yeah, well, I feel like they do it. Feels like they just do it earlier and earlier this year. Might as well put them up on Boxing Day, if you ask me. But it's...
That's the best accent you've done all day.
Probably some woke nonsense that means I've got to put it out there.
Oh God!
It's my Daily Mail reader voice. And anyway, I think they do it so people post about it on Twitter.
That's not a bad shout.
With the whole like, I can't believe they put them out earlier and earlier. It seems. And Tyria Marcus here says, Luke, I love your accents. Please do more of them.
Stop it.
Jonathan Cantres has become a brand new member, and Brandon Brown has become a brand new member. Let's just have a quick check, see if that was the last of our chats. I believe it is. We'll have another check in a second, but I'm going to end the poll.
In about a month's time, Luke's going to have a tombola of accents that he's just going to whip out at any given moment.
And I'm excellent at accents.
Okay. If I say that you are, this is the thing. If I say you are, maybe you'll stop. But if I say you are, maybe you'll carry on. And I think I'm damned if I do and I don't.
It's a lose-lose situation. Or it's a lose-lose situation.
I mean, I can't do an Irish accent. I can do a few accents. Irish, never.
Yeah.
I've tried.
Can you do?
Well, now you put me on the spot and I feel shy and I don't want to.
Typical actor.
I'm like, well, I don't want to be at work. I don't want to be at work.
Right, what did you think of this episode of Raw?
I liked it very much. I can't do it. I'm on the spot. I used to be able to do it quite well. Cheese on a stick.
Jeff Jarrett walk into the room here.
Hi, Luke. I remember you from WrestleTalk. We worked together loads. We've been friends for a long time. I certainly didn't forget about you in the press conference. This is bad. This is very bad. Wrap it up. Swedish people. I'm from Sweden. That's an in-joke. That's an in-joke for those who know.
It seems that Bryan Danielson is on a final countdown.
Oh, absolutely spectacular. Stand, please. Everybody clap. Everybody clap. See what he did there? Very good.
Because he sort of announced a retirement on this episode of Collision.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. Yeah, we're going to be reviewing AEW Collision. But if you are watching live, please do get in your no-mega... I can't really call them no-mega chats anymore.
I mean,
because
Kenny still hasn't been on there, so and they can't be CMDMs. So that was our alternative.
Yeah.
So
we need a new name, everyone.
Should we have them just be UltraChats for a while?
For now,
yeah.
We'll call them UltraChats for the time being until we can get a good joke in.
There you go.
Another
thing to fall down by the wayside in the past couple of weeks.
I'm looking at you, live chat. Well, let's see what you make of this in what is being dubbed the Stark Remarks, which is a bit of fun. Get your Stark Remarks in to WrestleTalk.com/support.
Oh, yeah, I like that. That's stupid.
Let's get into the rest of your Stark Remarks or Bang Bang Chats, as has also been. So Greg's Ramblings was the person behind Stark Remarks, and Silent Spider is the person behind the Bang Bang Chats. So there you go. Jey Uso rejects the Judgment Day, or perhaps the Judgment Day is no more.
A couple of weeks now, I've given you a lot of props and you've deserved them because those puns were really good. Like you did a bit about Bryan Danielson and that he's on his final countdown. You've done very well. That one, I'd like you to apologize to the people immediately.
The Judgment Day is no more. I am Luke Owen, D-A-D. I'm joined by your James that Jampion.
Stop it.
The Professor, the Truth, Dan Layton. The pay-per-view's in 2 weeks' time.
I don't know that.
I don't even know what direction we're heading.
They don't really bother at this time because remember last year, like there was that great run of Triple H has had a number of good pay-per-views. I think you can't take that away from him in his time as head of.
Way more good than he has had bad.
One of the bad was the October pay-per-view. It was Extreme Rules, and I remember watching it and being like, "Am I wrong or is this crap?" And like Peter replied, "Oh, it isn't just you." Yeah. And I was like, "There you go. Okay, fine." So it was something we were really excited about, in large part because we had the Bray Wyatt tease. But also, yeah, that was one of the examples of it just being a bit mid. And then there was the Logan Paul thing, which was a nice diversion, I suppose. But generally speaking, one on.
Yeah, we feel like we're on a little bit of we're on pause until the Saudi show.
And the same thing happened from November through to the beginning of the Royal Rumble. Like this yeah, that's true, because the taint of the year for a reason.
Because we were like, oh man, can you imagine what a Triple H booked TV show is going to be? He's got 2 months to book a Royal Rumble, and what he did was wait till the last 3 weeks to book a Royal Rumble show, which meant we just had 8-7 weeks of nothing telly.
And we talk about it in terms of like the main events and the card will be great, so just be happy with it kind of thing. And it's like, sure. And at the very least, they do put things in places, even if it is a thing that I've seen already. Like I say this as a person who finishes Friends and goes back to watch Friends again, but that's 10 years worth of Friends. There's a bit of difference between each season.
You want to enjoy that Rachel Joey dynamic.
I skip past that bit.
Come on.
Outrageous.
A fun few episodes, that.
No, they made Rachel stupid to match Joey, and that was a absolute betrayal of that character.
I disagree.
Nope.
I mean, this is a topic for another podcast. When you and
I don't understand. We do this every week.
You and I start friends talk.
Happily.
I would absolutely would.
And then we can do Frasier talk.
Oh, is the spin-off? That's the Patreon exclusive. Series.
Well, we finish Friends, we do Frasier, then we can do Will and Grace. Point being, there's people watch things over and over again.
Should we do that as a poll? Was Rachel and Joey actually good?
Sure.
Well,
it was bad.
Mother, if you can hear me, can we do? We need to get the crucial data here. Was Rachel and Joey actually good? Yes or no?
The answer is objectively no. However,
it's objectively yes.
No, it's not true. But point being, people watch things over and over again. It's just different when we're watching this for what would be, by the time we get to end of November Survivor Series, about 6 months. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Well, that's upsetting, isn't it? Goodness gracious, you could hatch a baby in that time. So yeah, I like the War Games match. I just don't want to watch it.
Well, okay.
Till then.
Yeah, I liked this. Good, the poll is.
This is absolute nonsense.
But if you were to give me two options, do I want to see, or three options? Do I want to see Roman Rock? Do I want to see Roman Cody? Do I want to see a triple threat? I'm picking Roman Cody because that's the story you started. Like I don't want to Game of Thrones this.
Right. How dare you? First of all. New poll. Was the Game of Thrones ending good? No.
I think I might win that one.
I said that if I want to see Roman Rock at Mania, I'll happily watch it because I'm not stupid. But I don't want the title anywhere near it. Yeah. Like you'd have to. For me, it's like okay, take the title off Roman, and where do you do it? My head, Cody wins it in Chicago because he's or Royal Rumble if you want that big stadium feel, but keep the belt away from The Rock.
Right, we're going to get into the main show itself. But before we do, we're just going to give a quick shout out. We've got a guest in the room
we do.
Today.
An exam invigilator.
Yeah. New starter has joined us today. Ben, do you want to just come over here and just say hello to the fine people? Everyone, this is Ben.
Hi, fine people.
Ben, you might want to come in a little bit more.
I'll scooch in.
Yeah, just say hello.
Hi, everyone.
Ben, what do you do?
I am a production coordinator, so I...
Into the microphone if you wouldn't mind.
I coordinate production. Obviously, I don't host. Hence the not knowing what to do. I coordinate production. I send emails and all that jazz.
Ben, everyone. Ben, what's your one wrestling fact?
I know that in 1998, Undertaker threw Mankind off of Hell in a Cell, and he fell 16 feet into the announcer's table.
He did.
What do you make of the Rachel Joey storyline from Friends?
Oh, man, like... wasn't necessary.
Thank you.
Wasn't necessary. Right. If they had done it maybe 2 seasons earlier, it might have been better.
No, Ben, you're fired. Get out of here.
Way to piss us both off.
Ben, everyone. Ben. Someone said it's like Luke, but with hair. Joe will take. Ben's a handsome man. We got a recap of, speaking of less awesome, a recap of Seth and Nakamura from the past few weeks and Ricochet cutting a promo. His gimmick is he is the highlight of the night.
It rhymes.
Yeah, but I just watched Kofi and Ivar, and I feel like that was my highlight of the night. And I'll be honest with you, Rick, it sure weren't your match.
Okay, so here's my thing with this one. First of all, I was like, oh, he's got a spooky entrance for Halloween season. He's got all like the mist, and then he's got his big old spooky coat. Cole keeps on going on about how he's got new gear. I say he's got the same gear with a slightly different color palette.
It's black and yellow now.
That makes absolutely no difference.
He's a baddie.
Well, it was black and red, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So now it's black and yellow.
Well, yellow's an evil color.
Ah, right.
You seen the Minions?
Quite like the Minions.
That's basic bitch.
The Minions actually good. Do a poll. Becky Lynch and Tiffany Stratton drew a 26% increase on the ratings for NXT.
Over 1 million people tuned in for their match.
Over 1 million people tuned in for their match. And they went overtime. I wanted to check whether or not it was because people were tuning in for what was following. What's following NXT tonight on Indie USA Network is the Expendables 3. So like it's not like the big appointment television show or another sports match.
People are going to get ready for the Expendables 4.
Maybe. But fact of the matter is, people wanted to see this match. stuff was going on. Oh, it's on. I'll watch that. They tuned in.
It's a big match.
It's a big match. And a 44...
I think Becky Lynch is a draw.
Yeah.
She's an actual star.
She is. 44% increase on the key demographic. The World Cup final last month was attended by 75,000 people. In 2020, the Women's World Cup final specifically. In 2021, the Women's European final that was held at Wembley drew a crowd of 87,000 people, which is bigger than both the reported attendance and the Freedom of Information attendance for All In. Like, whichever one you want to go with, it's still bigger than both. Barbie drew $1.4 billion worldwide. Women's stuff draws. There are people in the comments and there are people all over Twitter. There are people all over this community, this wrestling community, that say, I'm just not interested in women's stuff. People just aren't interested in women's stuff. The women's stuff won't draw. There's facts that prove that you're wrong. I'm sorry you don't enjoy it.
It's a generalization to say that wrestling fans don't care about women's wrestling because facts will always prove you wrong.
There are people, and I want to be clear, I'm not even just throwing this at wrestling fans, brought it out to the wider world. There are people who work in the movie industry, in the distribution industry, who didn't book enough screenings of Barbie because they didn't think it was going to be as popular as that it was. And then
it's madness.
Which is mad when you think about it, because women are a large portion of the population, plot twist. So people do want to see this stuff. It's about, if you book them, they will come. If you book Becky Lynch on NXT, the viewers will go and watch it. As you say, Becky's a draw.
As it was for this episode of Raw, though, completely agree with everything you said, by the way. Can I tell you a fun fact, actually?
Please.
About this? You know the song Bring Me to Life by Evanescence?
Love it, banger.
It is. So I, for years, for the past 20 years, in fact, have thought that I don't like that song. I didn't like it when it came out.
How? It was everywhere.
Well, that's the problem.
Right.
It was everywhere, and I didn't particularly like it. And even though it was a number one song here,
it was a banger.
The UK. And the reason people was like, "Well, why don't you like that song?" I was like, "Man, the dude singing is awful."
Wake me up,
save me! And then he does he does a really bad rap.
Can't believe I couldn't see. Kept in the dark, but you were there in front of me.
It's laughably terrible. It is a bad rap.
Oh, I love it.
He's not in the band.
No, he's not.
He is not.
He's a featured artist.
He is a featured artist. But every time that song was like on the radio or it was on TV, it was just Evanescence, Bring Me to Life.
Yeah.
So I spent the last 20 years thinking he was just part of the band.
Nope.
He is not. Do you know why he is in that song?
Why?
Because the record label weren't going to release it unless he was on it. Because the record label said, you are a woman in a rock industry, in a male-dominated industry. No one is going to buy this record unless there is a male voice on it.
Yep.
And despite the fact that Amy Lee and Evanescence fought against it, the record label said, we are not going to release this song unless this guy from 12 Stones ruins it.
I argue it's perfect as is.
And so they released it, and that is the version we got there. So yeah, it's just like
this is a thing.
It was more to your point of just like it is not just a wrestling only thing.
No, it's not at all.
When I was interviewing people for my video game book that I did many moons ago, I did a chat about the Tomb Raider movie, and this is one of my favorite like Hollywood stories. So Steven D'Souza was working on a script for Tomb Raider, and then Mystery Men was released in cinemas.
Oh yeah,
and Mystery Men bombed in the pictures, right? And Paramount cancelled all plans for a Tomb Raider movie. Why? Well, that's a comic book movie and it failed. This is the same thing. Plus, it's got a woman. It's already going to struggle.
Yeah.
We're not going to make this movie now. Because when they released Mystery Men, they thought, well, Batman was a big hit in '89. This is also a comic book movie. This will also be a big hit.
Things don't get made because people have these preconceived notions, and when it's a vicious circle. It's a vicious circle. The only way you break it is by doing it and then getting the data to back it up.
Yeah, I once wrote an article for a movie website when they didn't announce Captain Marvel or a Black Widow movie in like phase 2 and phase 3 phase 2 rather I should say of the MCU, and people were like, oh, Marvel are sexist. And I said, they're not sexist, they're afraid of failure.
Yeah,
because history has told the movie industry that female-led action movies don't draw numbers. Then they make them, and they do draw numbers. But then all it'll take is for one of them not to do well. They're like, "Ah, told you."
Which is this? This is my whole point to bring it back on theme with Hardcore Country, was that it doesn't. The Hardcore Country thing was fine if there were 7 women's matches on the show, but there was only 1. Do you know how many men's action movies fail?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Does it stop them making more action movies? No.
It's AEW is a great example of
Backwards
this.
and in heels.
It's AEW is a great example of this because the argument is, well, they don't draw money, they don't draw the ratings. I'm like, well, there's loads of lads that don't do either, but that doesn't mean you stop doing lads matches.
Yeah, big time. Final thing on Evanescence, just because I know we need to move on because we're going to go over time, and I could talk about this forever. But that album, brilliant, by the way.
I never listened to it.
So it's obviously because of the story, but it's a brilliant album, and one of the songs on it is called "My Last Breath," and that is the theme for Christian Cage in Impact, which we now have in AEW. It's an Evanescence song. It's not meant to be. It's a carbon copy thereof, and it's a banger.
The only reason I'm bringing this up is because I was on the POD cast last night, which is a new metal podcast. I was on their Patreon feed reviewing the Daredevil soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
And that was like the big featured song.
It was, and it was also the theme for No Way Out, 2003.
Yeah. Like it was a big song.
Yeah,
which is a February thing. This was a February release as well. So yeah, Daredevil, Valentine's Day movie.
Big.
So it was a love movie.
Romance. Yeah,
it was a romance movie between Daredevil and Elektra. So yeah, it's why it's fresh in my mind. But it was only I was today years old or this week years old that I found out that it was Evanescence featuring some dude.
Yeah.
So I'm now going to go listen to Fallen because I've been told it's very good.
It's a good album.
So we have some poll results, everyone. Was Rachel and Joey actually good? No. Won with 66% of the vote.
There you go. Told you.
Are the Minions actually good? No. Won with 60%.
It's closer.
Is Bring Me to Life by Evanescence actually good? 82% voted yes.
Talking about. There's a little joke I remember that was going around. You know those things where it's like replace one word in a song with another word and change it entirely? Have you heard of those? Like change the name of a film by changing one word.
Yeah.
Like Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Gatehouse or whatever. In this case, it was change the word me in Bring Me to Life with Greg. Because then you get, wake Greg up inside, I can't wake up, save Greg. It's very funny.
That guy is so rubbish. It's genuinely terrible. Like, not only is he bad in that song,
don't let me die here.
There
must be something more.
He's got the worst song on the album on the Daredevil soundtrack as well. His crap band, who have to be industry plants. Like, I've got no other explanation for 12 Stones outside of they are industry plants.
There you go.
Absolute crap. And David Evans here says, hi both. On Going In Raw yesterday, Steve said that he and Larson are the only wrestling podcasters who would actually hear talk about the alien bodies that are presented to Mexican authorities, and he called out WrestleTalk specifically. However, Steve then did add that he wanted to hear your thoughts on the subject. So, what are your thoughts on the alien bodies that were presented to the Mexican authorities? Also, I'm gutted that Tegan was pulled from her match with Becky. But I guess that bit is by the by with everything else.
I also am sad for Tegan. I hope she gets another shot next week. My thoughts on the Mexican aliens that were presented to the Mexicans was it basically feels like someone accidentally stumbled in on the room where all the plastic casts of ET were sort of left to one side. And they were like, these look real, don't they?
I got to be honest with you guys. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, did you not see this?
No.
So there was all this conversation. There was like Freedom of Information Act that basically said, "Oh, aliens are real" or something like that.
that was months ago, right?
Yeah. So then these people came out on, and I've only seen the pictures of this. I haven't read the stories, so I can't even speak specifically. But these people came out in front of a Mexican
12 Stones
court.
to the Nexus theme. Get out! No, they didn't.
That's broken his entire. That's shaking your foundation.
Because that's actually quite a good song.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dan, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
It's all right.
I nearly jumped out of my chair.
Yeah, no, your whole world has changed. They searched Mexican aliens and they basically presented them in front of the court.
I think I'm going to get really weird things if I.
Oh, you probably end up. Well, you'll end up on some form of Republican mailing list.
And I don't want that.
No, okay. So search
aliens,
Mexico,
Mexican authority.
Yeah. But basically, they were presented to a court, and it was like
fact check. Aliens not confirmed.
Yeah, okay. But like, look at the images. Image search.
Okay.
That's just Reuters aren't going to give you images.
Okay.
Image search.
Images.
Yeah. They look like ET.
Yeah.
They don't look real.
They don't look real
at all.
Yeah.
They were like, these are aliens, and I looked at it and went, all right. And then people started taking it really seriously, so I started questioning whether or not I knew what was going on. But there you go. Maybe there probably are aliens.
NASA remarks on 1,000-year-old bodies displayed in Mexico. What does NASA have to say about this?
See, the thing is,
I mean, they made up the moon landing.
People
what are they
don't.
gonna talk about?
Luke! People don't.
I don't believe that, by the way.
People don't come to us.
The Shining was Stanley Kubrick's admittance that he faked the moon landing.
Is that a thing? They think The Shining is his confession?
Yeah. Oh, The Shining is 100% his confession that he faked the moon landing for NASA.
I used to live with someone who thought that the moon landing was fake because Buzz Aldrin had confirmed that it was not real, and it was an Onion article. I swear to God. People don't come to the show to hear us talk about aliens. They come to the show to hear us talk about Joey and Rachel, Evanescence, and the Minions. That's what we provide. Every podcast provides its own little flavor. Even in our house, there's the grown-up conversation on the Dynamite show, and then there's us. That's what. There's the SmackDown one with all of Sat's excitement, and we have these. Everyone has different flavor, you know.
So, Stephen Larson, if you are watching, and I know you are, I don't think they're real, mate. So sorry about that. I will believe it when
an alien comes and knocks on the door and says, "Would you like to come to see Queen?"
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Who's older than me? And I can be like, cool. Now I'm not the oldest person there.
There you go. 7,000-year-old alien at Seeing Queen confirmed.
That's going to do it for the Raw podcast.
Any more controversial things you want to say? Pack them in. Check the poll results.
Did you see that video that was doing the rounds on Twitter yesterday of someone who had a YouTube video that was talking about Shelley Duvall seeing the blood pouring out of the lift in The Shining?
Oh, and they said they should have CGI'd her in.
Yeah, sort of CGI'd her in because that way you would know if it was real or not.
Absolutely.
And then it ends with, and this is one of the reasons why Ready Player One got it right.
I have to believe that that's a parody.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I thought that has to be a joke.
I'm almost certain it is.
That final line at the end has to prove that is a gag.
Yeah, it's almost certainly a joke.
Yeah.
But even so, there are people out there who do think those things, and that's why culture's dead. Society is over, everybody.
It's a shame that we've got a poll running at the moment. We could have done, was the moon landing fake?
You must be stopped.
Yeah, please do keep getting your UltraChats in, by the way, WrestleTalk.com/support. If any of our staff members are watching this in the office, first of all, thank you very much. But also, can someone bring me a cup of tea?
Yeah, that'd be great if I could have one as well.
I'd really appreciate it. Just bring me a cup of tea, please.
Yeah.
That'd be lovely. I hope someone's watching this now. Please do keep your eyes on WrestleTalk.com for any more latest news coming in about this. And I'm also going to assume that no one in the office is watching the stream because no one's bringing me a cup of tea.
Yeah, going to assume not, because there's a distinct lack of tea that's being brought to us right now.
Who could I message in the office? Ben?
Oh, Ben will do it.
Ben doesn't make tea.
Oh, Ben doesn't make tea. You're so right. Tempest. Tea-mpest.
Very good. Tea, please.
That didn't work.
Tempest is bringing tea.
Hello.
Thank you.
If you haven't heard, Shelton Benjamin also gone.
No!
I know. Yeah, that's what we were saying. Which is unfortunate. I'll get it from you because you don't have your mask on. Also, is that one cup of tea?
You didn't ask for a tea.
Luke! I didn't ask Tempest to get me a tea!
I just said tea, please.
Oh!
I thought it was implied. Awful lot of milk in that one, Tempest.
Tea.
Yeah, will do.
Has it got any sugar in it?
No. Why? Do you want a lollipop?
Thanks, Tempest!
We're not making light of the very serious news here. We got to try and make our own fun somehow.
We have to try and make our own fun, and tea is the way we do it.
Thank you, Tempest.
Oh my god, you actually made me tea! I wasn't expecting it!
Well, I made Luke a tea, actually. There's less milk in it.
Thank you. So, and there's no sugar in that one?
No.
Oh, sweet.
Cool.
I will swap that. Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler's gone.
No way!
Yeah, Dolph.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Do you want me to sort of mic out for you?
I mean, how many more are there going to be by the next time I have to make a tea?
It's every time you make a tea. Yeah. I mean, when there was all the stuff with him going to AEW recently, like Ryan Nemeth tweeting about it and stuff. So, yeah. Crazy. Right?
That's the most shocking thing I've ever heard.
You've ever heard?
I'm more shocked by Dolph Ziggler going this time than anyone else that's gone the other time.
Felt like a lifer.
Strowman, none of that.
Yeah.
What?
So there you go.
Tempest is surprised.
Tempest has opinions.
Tempest was shocked by that.
Yeah.
That apparently is
we weren't.
the most shocked.
The most shocking thing he's ever heard. That is... Well, I'm not going to call that hyperbole, but it is. But yes, Dolph Ziggler.
I was like, I said, do you want to get me a mic? Someone's like, nah, just let him shout. The Texas death match between Bryan Danielson and Ricky Starks was absolutely fantastic. And you could say a star was born.
I was gonna no sell, but then the x was so loud.
Also, actually, should just point out as well, bit of admin that we need to do here. A lot of people watched the 3 counts.
Oh yeah,
from last week, in which I made a very funny joke. And okay, so here's what happened. 2 weeks ago, you made this pitch on the Raw podcast that was Alba Fire and Isla Dawn placed a curse, an actual curse,
a witchy curse
on the women's tag titles, and we all thought it was hilarious.
Can I give you a little fantasy booking for the the women's tag division? It requires a little bit of retconning, a little bit of just go with it. But they've acknowledged this curse on this belt on television. They've said these belts are a little bit cursed, right? Yeah. They were unified with the NXT tag titles, which were held by a couple of witches. Like, those characters are witches. What if they put a hex on the belts? Put it in the show.
Right. There was a segment in NXT where Isla Dawn was invisible.
This is what I'm talking about. If they're a bit witchy, work with it. Make it so that they're like, yeah, the reason this keeps happening to you is because you took these belts off us. Also, we channeled the crystal that Mercedes Moné put in the belts when she stomped away. I'm convinced there's one in there.
I love that idea.
There you go.
Because we're going to be doing, the serious feud with Shayna and Zoe Stark.
Yeah.
Which is going to be great because Chelsea can be the awesome comedic foil in all of that, while these 3 brutes all batter each other, and she's just being Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. But when they retain and you then go into a feud with the witches over on SmackDown, you then transition into a comedy feud where all of a sudden Piper's the straight man.
There you go.
That sounds wicked.
And Piper's Scottish too.
And which means that Chelsea Green's once again the odd person out.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone else is Scottish.
But yeah, that's my little fantasy booking for the tag titles. I think it would be quite fun. It was a legitimate pitch.
Genuinely brilliant idea.
Thank you.
And it's very, very funny. We all had a good laugh with it here, and we had a good laugh with it in the live chat. We've then since continued that on, and we just talked about it on other podcasts and stuff. So in my mind, that's just WrestleTalk lore.
Yeah.
So that is just part of the WrestleTalk lexicon.
I am very influential in that regard.
Yeah. So I'm like, we've joked about it in the office and stuff. It's just become part of the zeitgeist of WrestleTalk in my mind. So when we did the 3 count, I was like, place Kurt's on belts.
Actually never there.
Yeah.
She just wasn't. She was never there. It's a figment of everybody's imagination.
Oh, I like it. Very good.
Yeah.
Cursed tag belts.
Yeah.
When they lost those tag belts, because they're witches, you see.
Yep.
They put a curse on those tag belts.
Oh, I see. You're saying they cursed the tag belts.
Yeah,
I
actually literally cursed the tag belts.
Nice.
And that's why everyone keeps getting injured the second they win them, or get squashed by Nia Jax.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
And, we said it's actually cut out of the episode. It's something we talked about in the podcast. They're actually witches and they placed a curse on the belt.
Well, release the footage. Release the Snyder Cut of 3 count.
And then, it's too long. Honestly,
I imagine so.
That record, I think, was like 50 minutes. And we had to, there's actually entries in there that we've just trimmed out, not even just the people that were released. There were like other entries like, it's not funny.
No.
Like that, we need to get this down under 20 minutes. So cut. We were very vicious with it. And it wasn't until Saturday morning when I woke up and had loads of people message me and like, you predicted the witch curse thing. And I was like, oh no. Oh, people think it was my idea. Oh no. People think it was my idea.
Posterity shows.
And so and there's only when you shared that video, I was like, I'm going to lean into this.
Yeah. By the way, this doesn't count, because the people who watch Collision don't watch Dynamite, don't watch Raw. I know there's some crossover. I'm going to read you to filth tomorrow. You just wait.
Yeah. And that's absolutely fine because I will do the apology once again on that show. I'll do it again on this show. I'll do it again on that show.
All right.
If you want, it'll probably get cut out of the episode because we've got to keep them under 20 minutes. I guess I'll do it on the 3 cam. But we'll do that. We're like, nah, we'll cut that bit.
No, I'll let you have it. This one time.
Right, let's get into your remaining Stark remarks. Joseph Ray has been a member for 25 months in a row. Says, hi guys, using my member chat to shout out the velvety tone of Dan on his recent list videos. And Sully's commentary was hilarious in the news today.
Well, thank you on behalf of us both.
Yes, well, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Danny, for your wonderful, lovely comments as well. Shame that no one's talked about my twerking in today's news, though. Which is, it's a real shame. I put a lot of effort into that.
And lastly for now, NXT star Nikita Lyons has provided an update on her injury recovery, posting on Instagram that she is now able to train in ring again, which means she could be back rather soon. And she made this announcement by twerking. I'm not sure we can even show this video. Is this going to get us demonetized? Are we going to get in trouble for this? I mean, should we pixelate it? Is that too much? Is that censoring? Should we pixelate? Should we, what's the word I'm looking for? Soften it? Can't say we can improve it. Soften it, maybe? Yeah, let's try that. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's way better. Yeah, I think that's a perfect video to illustrate Nikita Lyons' return from injury. I can't see this clip being shared out of context on Twitter or Instagram at all. So, yeah, good work, us.
Hello, my name is Elder Luke, and I would like to share with you this most amazing episode of Raw. Welcome to the WrestleTalk podcast. I'm Luke Owen, DAD. I'm joined by the Professor, the Truth, your Jam That Champion, Dan Layton. Please do press the subscribe button if it's your first time here. Give us a little thumbs up as well as we review Monday Night Raw. If you're watching this on demand, leave a comment down below with what you thought of this episode. And if you're watching live, get in your alpha chats to WrestleTalk.com/support. We'll read out all of them above the $5 amount.
I really appreciated you speaking my language just now in terms of musicals. But I do hope that you warmed up before that reach.
Oh, because okay, so here's what happened.
Okay.
I'm now picking up what you're putting down. Here's what happened. Tempest was playing a video game in the office, and I heard within that video game a bing bong.
Oh, you did? You mentioned it.
And I was like, did anyone else just hear a bing bong? Like a little ding dong? And I was like, yeah, it was Tempest game. And so I just went, hello.
I see.
And no one reacted. And so I thought, do you know what I'll do? I'll do it live on the air, and it will be appreciated by more people.
And how many more people appreciated it, do you think?
Get that nonsense out of here.
There you go.
Loved it. Book of Mormon. Yep, I mean, about 2 people appreciated it.
You've been acknowledged.
I've been acknowledged.
That's all you needed.
More than there was in the office.
That's very true.
So here's some fun, interesting facts for you, Dan. This is the highest rated Raw on Cage Match of the year.
Okay.
It's in fact the highest rated Raw on Cage Match of the Triple H era.
Wow.
The closest Monday Night Raw that's come to this, because it scored a 9.11 on Cage Match.
Goodness me. And do they is it like a broad range of people?
It's people who use Cage Match essentially. So it's a user generated.
No, I mean like have lots of people, or is it like one person gave it 9.11 and so as a result it's 9? Do you know what I mean?
No, I was looking at it's like 10's best episode of the year, and a couple of 7's being like not a great episode, but it was lifted by pay-per-view quality, like in-ring stuff. And that's broad range of opinions within. So yeah, this is 9.11. It's higher than Collision.
Goodness.
And that was the highest rated. I think the second highest rate of Collision of this year. All of a sudden really got into I feel like it's the IMDb.
You become the stats man.
So it's the IMDb of pro wrestling. So it's not exactly like, an actual barometer of it's not science. So when I was looking at this show, I sat down this morning. I could just bring your chair into them so slightly, so the framing's a bit nicer.
Did you just miss me?
Oh, well, there's that as well.
Yeah.
Closeness is, friendship. And so I sat down 6 a.m. this morning to watch my episode of Raw. I talked about this in the edited review. My favorite curry takeaway is a tikka paneer dansak.
You said that earlier on, but you said a tikka dansak, and I was in the middle of writing a list of Japanese wrestlers, and I thought that was someone I didn't know. I just wasn't paying attention to what you said, and then you followed through with, if I may, a brilliant metaphor.
Thank you.
For those who are unaware, a dansak is
A curry.
what kind of curry? Are we talking spicy?
It's kind of the perfect blend, I think, of sweet and sourness. It's got the right amount of heat. I like a spicy curry. I love a vindaloo and all that sort of stuff. But what I like about a dansak is that it's got, as Greg Wallace would say, bags of flavour. And there's lentils in there as well.
Yeah.
Delicious. Love me a dansak.
I like a korma. Who's surprised?
Yeah. Because you're... I won't go into it.
A wally pop.
Because you want a wally pop.
Yeah.
So I like a paneer tikka dansak.
Yeah, lovely.
On a Friday night with pilau rice, some Bombay aloo, poppadoms, because I like to use poppadoms to eat my curry with.
Yeah.
Bit of mango chutney. I don't need the mango chutney, but if it's there, it's a nice little addition, right? If I had that, for me, it's the perfect meal. It's a perfect Friday night takeaway meal. If I had it every Friday, after a while, I'd be like, this is still good. Yeah. Because it's delicious. But I'm not like, oh man, I can't wait to have another one of those. If I then have it for every meal, while it is always delicious, I am going to be like, could actually quite fancy something new. Maybe a Balti or something like that. Even just like a different flavor profile. So I sat down to watch Raw this morning, and a waiter came over and said, paneer tikka dansak. Yeah. Because the main event was Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Judgment Day. And I was like, yeah, fine, I'll eat my paneer tikka dansak. I'll spoon on my rice, I'll spoon on my... Oh, is it a Cody Rhodes promo instructed by the Judgment Day, is it? It's my Bombay aloo, I'll put that on. Oh, is that a brawl with Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Jey Uso? Yeah, there's some mango chutney on the side there. I'm sure that I'll enjoy this a lot. But then throughout the show, I'll be like, oh, you got a little chana masala over there. Do you mind if I put some of that on my plate? Just think a little bit different. Oh, have you got samosas? Oh, do you know what? Actually, I do fancy some samosas. Actually, I'll add some samosas to my plate. And then before I knew it, I was having a whole new meal, and there was this big Attitude Era schmoz in the main event. And at the end of it, I was like, that's the best paneer tikka dansak I've had in ages.
And in this metaphor, would you argue that JD McDonough is the little bag of salad that you get?
So because my wife will get paneer shashlik that comes with the salad.
Okay, now just make sure. Sorry, I said a bad word.
She'll get paneer tikka shashlik and stuff, and that will come with a bag of salad. It usually comes with a big chunk of cucumber in it. My wife doesn't like cucumbers, so I'll have that. That's me veg. Yeah. That's me salad for the thing. So yeah, JD McDonough with his massive head. Yeah. Is that big chunk of cucumber that comes in a salad bag. And I was like, you've got a little lime pickle over there, have you? Actually, I fancy a bit of lime pickle. Yeah. Or have you got a Peshwari naan? And I had a great time with this episode. Just because a lot of people are talking about this, I'm going to quickly double check, but I believe the news is official. That Jade Cargill has signed with WWE.
Oh, they made it, have they legitimated it?
Oh, I don't know. Everyone in the chat. There you go. Breaking. Jade Cargill has signed a multi-year contract with WWE.
Oh,
as
wow.
First reported by ESPN / actually Fightful Select.
Now that is massive. Because they're posting it to their main profile and they're calling her Jade Cargill. This is a full acknowledgement of this person as pre-existing.
In fairness, that is tagging her on Twitter, where it's Jade Cargill.
What does it say on that picture then?
Oh, it says Jade Cargill there. And they can change her name.
They can absolutely change her name.
They announced they'd signed Kana, but then changed her name when she...
And they had a lovely PowerPoint graphic. Yeah. They changed it. No, that's absolutely true. I
think Jade Cargill ruined my excellent metaphor. Because no one was listening to my excellent metaphor.
Well, the metaphor... thankfully, it's there for posterity when in 2 weeks' time, Isla Dawn and Alba Fire come out and they do something with a paneer dansak that you can tweet that. Unfortunately, there's no women's tag stuff on this show, so I had to fit it in somewhere. But the Jade Cargill news I find really interesting because they're being very vocal about bringing it. They're treating her like a top star already. They're making a point of breaking the news with ESPN. That's quite massive. Very intriguing. Very interested to see where that's going.
First reported by Fightful Select, but
But you can't acknowledge them, can you? You have to.
Well, that's I think, Dan, part of the problem.
Not the dirt sheets, brother.
This show opened with Cody Rhodes. Do you want me to do my apology again now?
Yes, because Chelsea Green not on the show.
Please.
Chelsea Green not on the show. Live tweeting the whole thing. Thoroughly entertaining read. If you want to go back and get a new bit of piercing analysis from one of the, I would argue, the top stars. I don't know why she wasn't on the show. I think she's had a day off, but she was live tweeting the whole thing. It was very entertaining. Pointed out Cody's threads, which just looks handsome in a suit. We love to see it. Is one half of the women's tag team champions. So that'll give us a segue into your groveling apology.
So I talked about this on yesterday's Collision podcast, but if you did not see it, that on 3 counts, I made a joke about the Alba Fire and Isla Dawn placing a curse on the women's tag titles because 2-3 weeks ago you had made this
groundbreaking genius
fantasy booking I would say, a bit of fantasy booking to say that they've placed an actual curse because they're actual witches.
They're witches.
And we all had a good giggle about it. The live chat and I had a good giggle about it. And we all thought it was a very, very good and funny idea. And then since then, we've just been talking about that as if it's an idea or making it just like, well, those belts are cursed. The witches put a curse on them. Yuck, 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 yuck. And in doing so, sort of just convinced myself that was all part of WrestleTalk lore now. Forgetting that the podcast and main channels often had different audiences. And I realized this when I woke up on Saturday morning and everyone was tweeting me or sending me Instagram DMs being like, you got another prediction right on 3 count. And I was like, oh no, they think that's my idea. And it was not my idea. It was Dan's idea that we have all just sort of like all joined in on because it was such a good idea. But the genesis, the start, the beginning of McGillicuddy
from this moment
came from your massive brain.
I want to be clear, I have a tiny brain, but it specifically works. Excuse you. It specifically works for this. This is what my brain is meant for. And also, it's not the first of my fantasy booking pitches that has ended up on television. So I know you're watching. You're a member of the creative team. Drop us a DM. I'll do it. I'll move there. I'll fix the whole company.
I was going to say, you don't want to be part of creative. That's the worst job in the world.
I run towards all the red flags in all of my life.
I've seen your love life.
Yeah. Hey, I found a nice one. She's good.
She's the keeper.
She's the keeper. It's
spotty at best up until
it's our anniversary today.
Is it really? Oh, congratulations!
Thank you very much. But yeah, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Being a pair of witches who put a curse on the tag team belts is a genuinely spectacular
it's very fun
piece of, and I'm thrilled that they picked it up and used it, and I can't wait to see what you do with it. Don't F it up, because I'll come for you.
I like this person here that just said, Luke just told the joke louder.
Yeah, literally. But also, this has happened to me before. I once had a series on Vine. Do you remember Vine?
Oh, yeah, I remember Vine.
I did a bunch of Vines of like a song but sung by a northern person. So like, for instance, I'm on tonight, you know me hips don't lie, and all that stuff.
We used to, my cousin's showpiece was to do Ice Ice Baby.
Great.
As someone from Wigan.
It's just a funny bit. And then my friend / housemate took it and turned it into a bit on Radio 1 and didn't credit me.
What?
So I have previous with it. And I if there's you know many things about me. You're one of my closest friends. You should know I hold a grudge. It will come back to haunt you, much like the witches. Desk. Oh, my big book of grudges. Yay high.
It's going to be the name of your autobiography.
It's just a list of people.
Let's get into your remaining alpha chats. Please continue to get them in WrestleTalk.com/support. We'll read out all of them above the $5 amount. Tyrone Kid said, always been a fan, guys. Just want to say thank you, Luke, for your original brilliant idea about Iron and Alpha jinxing the title. Big brain move. Oh, also, hi, Dan.
Yeah. You're in my big book of grudges, Tyrone.
You're just going to write down Tyrone Kid?
Tyrone Kid, yeah. T-2 years ago, this was a young, vibrant, new media man. Now he's a dad. Oh, I've just got Instagram. Can you show me? In fact, you say they're doing that. I've got a funny bit.
Have you?
Yeah.
Have you really?